All right, so let's dive into something pretty major that just went down in the world of AI. Paris just wrapped up a huge summit all about artificial intelligence. And this wasn't just, your typical tech meet and greet.
No, not at all. This was the AI Action Summit, bringing together some pretty big names, leaders and experts, to really map out the future of AI, like how it's going to affect everything: jobs, healthcare, even our culture.
Wow, okay.
And what's really fascinating is the Global South had a much bigger voice this time around, with India actually co-chairing the event.
Why is this summit such a big deal? What does it tell us about how the world is thinking about AI right now?
Well, for one thing, this wasn't just about, showing off the latest AI tech. It was about setting global agendas, making some serious political commitments,
Uh-huh.
really trying to steer AI in a direction that benefits everyone.
Right.
And, we've got stacks of reports and articles here from the summit.
Yeah.
And one thing is clear, this wasn't just talk, there were some concrete actions coming out of it.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics. What actually happened at this AI Action Summit?
Well, it kicked off on February 10th with a huge pledge. 60 countries signed the Statement on Inclusive and Sustainable Artificial Intelligence for People and the Planet.
Inclusive and sustainable AI, those are some pretty loaded terms.
Right.
What do they actually mean in this context?
Well, it's about making sure that AI development and use doesn't just benefit a select few, but is accessible to all countries, especially those in the Global South.
Uh-huh.
And it's about considering the environmental impact of AI and making sure it's used responsibly.
So it sounds like they're trying to get ahead of some of the potential problems with AI before they become major issues. But I'm curious, weren't there some big names missing from that list of countries who signed this pledge?
You're absolutely right. The US and UK, who are often seen as leaders in AI, decided not to sign on. They cited concerns about potential overregulation, but it definitely raises some eyebrows. Are they truly worried about stifling innovation, or is there something else at play here? It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
That's a good point. So we have this major pledge focused on, inclusivity and sustainability,
Right.
but also this tension with some of the major AI players kind of holding back. What else came out of the summit?
Well, one big development was the launch of Current AI. It's a public-private partnership aimed at promoting the use of AI for the public good, tackling issues like healthcare, education, and climate change. This kind of collaboration between governments, researchers, and private companies is exactly what many experts have been calling for.
So they're not just talking about responsible AI.
Right.
They're actually putting mechanisms in place to make it happen. I'm also seeing a lot about open source AI being a hot topic at the summit.
Absolutely. Open source AI, where the code and tools for developing AI are freely available, was a major focus, especially for empowering countries that haven't traditionally been at the forefront of AI research. This has the potential to really level the playing field, allowing more countries to participate in shaping the future of AI.
Okay, this is all starting to paint a pretty clear picture of the summit's agenda.
Yeah.
It seems like a huge focus was on this idea of making AI a global effort, not something controlled by just a few powerful nations or corporations.
You've hit the nail on the head. The Paris AI Action Summit was very much about shifting the narrative around AI
Uh-huh.
and having India as co-chair, a country that's rapidly becoming a major player in the AI space,
Right.
sent a powerful message about this new, more inclusive approach to AI governance.
But it wasn't all just lofty ideals and partnerships, right? I'm sure they also dug into some of the real challenges that come with AI.
Of course, they addressed the elephant in the room, or maybe we should say the energy-guzzling supercomputer in the room.
Okay.
AI's environmental impact. Those large language models everyone's talking about require massive amounts of computing power,
Yeah.
which translates to huge energy consumption and carbon emissions.
So it sounds like a bit of a paradox. We have this technology with the potential to solve some of our biggest problems, but it also comes with its own set of environmental challenges.
Exactly. And finding ways to make AI more sustainable is going to be crucial if we want it to truly benefit humanity in the long run.
Right.
They also grappled with the potential impact on the workforce, the fears of AI automating jobs out of existence.
Yeah, the whole robots taking our jobs scenario, is that something we should actually be worried about?
Well, it's not quite that simple. While AI will inevitably automate certain tasks, it will also create new jobs in industries that we can't even imagine yet. The key is to focus on retraining and upskilling workers, ensuring that people are equipped to thrive in this evolving job market.
So it's about adapting and evolving alongside the technology rather than trying to resist it.
Precisely. And that was a recurring theme throughout the summit, this need to be proactive to anticipate the challenges and opportunities that AI presents,
Yeah.
and to shape its development in a way that benefits everyone.
Okay, so we've covered the big picture, the goals, the challenges, but let's get a bit more specific about some of the key players. You mentioned India co-chairing the event. What exactly did they bring to the table?
Well, India really stepped up, showcasing their vision for what they call a human-centric approach to AI. Prime Minister Modi gave a major speech highlighting their successes with digital public infrastructure, things like Aadhaar, their biometrics digital identity platform.
But what is digital public infrastructure and what does it have to do with AI?
It's basically using technology to build digital systems that benefit everyone. Aadhaar, for example, has given millions of Indians access to essential services and benefits, even those who were previously excluded. This kind of infrastructure lays the groundwork for deploying AI solutions in a way that's inclusive and impactful.
So it's not just about having the fanciest algorithms. It's about having the systems in place to make sure everyone can benefit from those algorithms.
Exactly, and India's putting their money where their mouth is. Modi announced that they're developing their own large language model, kind of like ChatGPT, but with a focus on inclusivity, taking into account India's incredible linguistic diversity.
So they're not just adopting existing AI models, they're creating their own that are tailored to their specific needs and values.
And they're also pushing for the Global Partnership on AI, or GPAI, to become the central hub for responsible AI development.
Hold on, GPAI, what's that exactly?
It's an international initiative bringing together leading experts, researchers, and policymakers to guide the development and use of AI grounded in human rights, inclusion, diversity, innovation, and economic growth. Basically, it's trying to ensure that AI benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
So it sounds like India is really positioning itself as a major force in the global AI landscape.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of, technological development, but also in shaping the ethical and governance frameworks around AI.
Without a doubt. And this summit really solidified that role. And just about, focusing on the positives, they also dug deep into the potential downsides, the risks that come with AI.
Yeah, we talked about the environmental impact, but I'm guessing there are other concerns as well.
Definitely one of the big ones is the potential for misuse, especially with these powerful new AI models becoming more accessible, and even the use of AI in autonomous weapons systems. These are serious issues that need careful consideration.
Okay, so it's not all sunshine and roses. AI has this incredible potential, but it also comes with some serious baggage.
Exactly, and that's why this conversation about responsible AI development is so crucial. The Paris Summit was a major step in that direction, bringing together a diverse range of voices to grapple with these complex issues. But this is just the beginning. We need to keep this dialogue going, engaging with the public policymakers and researchers alike.
So what does all this mean for someone listening right now, someone who might not be a tech expert or a government official? Why should they care about what happened at this AI summit in Paris?
Because the decisions being made about AI governance will affect everyone. It will affect your job, your privacy, the information you consume, even the kinds of opportunities available to you. AI is already changing the world around us, and it's only going to become more pervasive in the coming years.
So it's not just a tech issue, it's a societal issue.
Precisely, and that's why it's so important for everyone to be informed and engaged in the conversation about AI.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the global picture, but let's zoom in on something that caught my eye. There was a lot of buzz at the summit about these low-cost AI models coming out of China, especially one called DeepSeek. What's the deal with that?
DeepSeek is fascinating. It was developed for a fraction of the cost of its Western counterparts and is already making waves. It suggests that the AI landscape is becoming much more multipolar, with new players emerging and challenging the dominance of the established tech giants.
That sounds like a good thing. More competition, more innovation. But I'm guessing it's not that simple.
Of course not. While DeepSeek's accessibility is exciting, it also raises concerns. Some countries have already blocked access, citing worries about data security, potential misuse, and even the possibility of it being used to spread propaganda.
So it's a powerful tool that could be used for good or bad.
Exactly. And that's why this conversation about AI governance is so important. We need to find ways to encourage innovation while also putting safeguards in place to mitigate the risks.
It's interesting that you bring that up. One of the articles we were reviewing mentioned that the US and the UK, despite not signing the PLEAD, did express some very specific concerns about these low-cost models.
Right, and it highlights the complexity of this whole issue. The US and UK are worried about the potential for these models to be used irresponsibly, but they also don't want to stifle innovation or cede control of the AI landscape to other countries. It's a delicate balancing act.
It sounds like there's a lot of geopolitical maneuvering going on beneath the surface of all this talk about AI for good.
Absolutely. AI is not just a technological race, it's a geopolitical one. And the stakes are incredibly high. Whoever controls AI will have a significant advantage in the 21st century, and that's something that no country is taking lightly.
Okay, so things are getting a bit more intense than just robots and algorithms. We're talking about global power dynamics and potential conflicts.
Exactly. And that's why events like the AI Action Summit are so important. They provide a platform for dialogue for countries to come together and try to find common ground on these crucial issues.
This is a lot to process. process. We've gone from talking about open source AI and inclusivity to potential geopolitical rivalries and the weaponization of AI. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is, but this is the reality of AI today. It's a technology with incredible potential, but also with significant risks. And it's up to all of us, not just governments and tech companies, to shape its future in a way that benefits all of humanity.
Before we move on, there's one more thing I wanted to bring up. It seems almost out of place in the context of this high-tech summit, but one of the articles mentioned Prime Minister Modi bringing up a bit of history during his visit to Paris. Apparently, he talked about Veer Savarkar, an Indian independence activist who had a rather daring escape attempt in Marseille back in 1910.
Ah, yes. It seems like a random tidbit, but I think it's significant. Savarkar was being transported to India from England to face charges for his role in the independence movement. During a stopover in Marseille, he managed to escape from the ship and swim ashore.
Hold on, he swam ashore. That's quite a story.
It is. He sought asylum in France, but was ultimately recaptured and extradited back to India. Modi bringing this up during the AI summit might seem out of context, but it's actually a clever way to highlight the long-standing relationship between India and France.
So it's not just about technology and geopolitics, it's also about shared history and cultural connections.
Exactly, and I think it speaks to the complexity of India's role on the global stage. They are a technological powerhouse, but they're also a nation with a rich history and a distinct cultural identity.
It definitely adds a human dimension to this whole discussion about AI. We're not just talking about algorithms and data, we're talking about people, about their hopes and fears, their histories and aspirations.
You got it, and I think that's something that we need to keep in mind as we navigate this uncharted territory of AI. It's a technology that will undoubtedly change the world, but it's up to us to ensure that it changes the world for the better.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the AI Action Summit, the shift toward more inclusive global governance, the challenges and opportunities presented by this rapidly evolving technology, and even a bit of history for good measure.
And we've touched on the potential impacts of these developments on various sectors, from healthcare to the future of work itself. But this is a deep dive, and there's one more crucial aspect we need to explore.
You're right, and that's what all this means for the person on the other side of this conversation, you, the listener. We've unpacked a lot in this deep dive. The AI Action Summit in Paris, the push for a more inclusive approach to AI, and even touched on some of those geopolitical tensions kind of bubbling beneath the surface. But what does this all actually mean for you? Like, how does this summit, these big ideas about AI, how does it impact your life, your work, your future?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? And the answer is it impacts you more than you might realize. Even if you're not, a tech person or someone in government, these decisions about AI, they're going to ripple through every part of society.
It's something that's going to hit close to home for everyone.
Absolutely. Think about it. If you work in healthcare, AI is already being used to develop new diagnostic tools, personalized treatment plans, even assist with surgeries. If you're in finance, algorithms are making decisions about loans and investments. And in manufacturing, well, robots are increasingly taking over tasks that were once done by humans.
So AI is already changing the game in a lot of industries. But what does that mean for the average person? What should they be doing to prepare for this AI-powered future?
Well, first and foremost, stay informed. Don't just tune out the AI conversation because you think it's too technical or doesn't apply to you. Pay attention to how AI is being used in your industry, in your community, in your daily life. The more you understand about AI, the better equipped you'll be to navigate the changes that are coming.
That's a good point. It's easy to get overwhelmed by all the hype and jargon surrounding AI. But at the end of the day, it's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Exactly. And that's why this whole conversation about AI ethics and governance is so crucial. We need to make sure that AI is developed and used in a way that aligns with our values, that it benefits society as a whole, not just a select few.
So what can the average person actually do to influence that conversation? It can feel like, these decisions are being made by governments and big tech companies and that we have no say in the matter.
That's a common misconception. You have more power than you think. Support organizations that are working to promote ethical AI development. Contact your elected officials and let them know that you care about this issue. Educate yourself and your community about the potential impacts of AI.
So it's about raising awareness, making our voices heard, and pushing for policies that ensure AI is used responsibly.
Exactly. And remember, the future of AI is not set in stone. It's being shaped right now. And we all have a role to play in ensuring that it's a future we can all be proud of.
This deep dive has been a roller coaster. We've gone from, celebrating the potential of AI to grappling with its risks, from dissecting global power dynamics to empowering individuals to take action. It's a lot to process, but I think it's clear that AI is not just some futuristic fantasy. It's here, it's changing the world, and it's something we all need to be thinking about.
You've summed it up perfectly. AI is no longer a science fiction concept. It's a reality that is rapidly transforming our world, and the choices we make today about how we develop and govern AI, they will have profound consequences for generations to come.
So as we leave you to ponder all of this, we want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question. We're talking about this potential turning point in how we approach AI globally, this move towards inclusivity, sustainability, and open source development. But is this truly the dawn of a more equitable AI future, where the benefits are shared more widely? Or will the same old power dynamics prevail, with a select few controlling this incredibly powerful technology?
That's the question that keeps me up at night. And honestly, I don't have the answer. But I do believe that the more we talk about it, the more we engage with these complex issues, the better our chances of steering AI in the right direction.
That's a powerful reminder that the future is not predetermined. It's up to us to shape it. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the world of AI. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to help create that more equitable, more sustainable, more human-centric future that we're all hoping for.
I like the sound of that.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive